So we have to dive into a topic that we haven't talked about here on this channel in some time. I am of course talking about cruise ship outbreaks, as we recently had one unfortunately take place on a ship about a week and a half ago. Now, of course, I am going to go over all the details and little giblets revolving around this story because we do have the CDC involved, that's the Centers for Disease Control, and while this virus isn't known to be deadly, whether we are on land or sea, it is known to be the #1 contributor for you having what would be uncontrollable vomiting and diarrhea. By the way, before we get into this stomach churning topic, and I mean this quite literally, I know a lot of you like the location updates. I am currently in my last port of call while sailing on board the Carnival Luminosa. This is the first city in Alaska, the salmon capital of the world. I am in Ketchikan, population 8,000. I got off and I had a great time. I saw the lumberjack show and now I want to be a lumberjack, and well, it's been a good time here so far. I also made a boo-boo, pun intended, for the upcoming story. I was very irresponsible, to the point to where I missed my excursion today. I woke up late, I was too busy partying and gyrating and shaking a tail feather at the nightclub. I'm joking, not on this ship. But I was up late editing some footage and answering emails, and I slept in a little bit, looked at my time that I was supposed to meet up for my excursion wrong, and well, I ended up missing my excursion. However, I was able to make it up and, well, get it all sorted out. I will be putting that video on my other channel, Jay the Nomad, as well as another video that I have coming up today, Wi-Fi permitting. That'll be up sometime around, I want to say 8 or 9 p.m. your time, because unfortunately I'm about 4 hours difference from where I would normally be when I'm uploading my videos. So the Celebrity Summit cruise ship was conducting a cruise out of New Jersey, taking place between May 15th and May 25th, going to places like Bermuda, Rhode Island, all over. Unfortunately, the cruise would have a little bump in the road. And by bump, I mean, of course, this outbreak, neurovirus outbreak to be specific. If you guys don't know what the neurovirus is, it is something that is unfortunately common when you hear outbreaks on cruise ships. This is, of course, prior to the COVID pandemic era. And unfortunately, like I said, the CDC has now gotten involved, as it has been confirmed at that point in time that 152 guests and 25 crew did unfortunately conduct the virus, as they all had symptoms like headaches, diarrhea, vomiting, and stomach cramps. Due to the amount of passengers and crew that contracted the gastrointestinal illness, the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, got involved, and they came in, they took something called stool specimens, samples to take back to the labs. They can do some research, see if they can maybe find the origin of this disease, and well, from there, hopefully try to find a way to prevent it later on in the future. Of course, the Celebrity Summit, they did put in their health and safety protocols. Of course, after the pandemic, it's kind of, well, a normal thing at this point for them to know what to do, and of course, they're looking out for themselves, the communities in which they visit. They put out a statement from the spokesman. It was the typical jargon, of course, you know, the PR speech, but of course they do mean well, and knowing how clean celebrity ships are, just most cruise ships in general, of course they are going to do everything they can to ensure that their passengers are safe, and of course they do prevent this in the future, well, to the best of their ability. Unfortunately, this is not the first time a neurovirus outbreak has taken place on board a celebrity ship here in 2023. Just a few months ago, back in March, there were two ships, the Celebrity Constellation that sails out of my home city of Tampa Bay, as well as the Celebrity Equinox sailing out of Fort Lauderdale. Both of them had around 100 cases of neurovirus on board. Now, they are not connected. As I said, the neurovirus is pretty common whether you are on sea or on land, and it's a pretty nasty deal. While not deadly, if you're talking about things in terms of cruising, it can definitely ruin your cruise. Back when I worked on the Norwegian Escape, we had a neurovirus outbreak of about 400 people, including passengers and crew on board. And it got pretty nasty for my ship. We weren't allowed to dock back in our home port of New York City, and we were kind of in limbo. Our normal itinerary was from Bermuda to New York. We were doing 3 nights over in Bermuda and just back again. Very simple itinerary, beautiful itinerary. However, we were sitting out in the middle of the ocean for about 2 days until we were allowed to finally dock back in New York. Once we got there, we had people in hazmat suits come on board, and it was just a very interesting situation. And it got even crazier because, like I said, it's extremely contagious, and they took off the passengers that were sick in that same day because of how the cruise ship operations work. They brought passengers back on, and lo and behold, we had another smaller but still another outbreak on board. I, for one, am very happy and fortunate to say that I have never had a case of the neurovirus on board any cruise ship. So I'll never know what it's like. Well, never say never, but I haven't experienced uncontrollable headaches, vomiting, and a case of a boo-boo go bad. Knock on wood. Is there any around here? I'll knock on it later. But when it comes to this situation, naturally, I know people are going to make the comment, cruise ships are a petri dish, all that basic, typical BS that we hear when it comes to cruise ships, primarily from people that have never even taken a cruise before. It gets kind of annoying because as somebody that does support the industry very strongly, I do believe that cruise ships, well, most of them, are without a doubt some of the most cleanest places that you could go to. The cruise lines go out of their way, especially the crew, of course, to ensure that you have a clean, nice flat table to eat at and make sure everything is done to perfection. And well, it's crazy to me when I hear all this BS, especially when something like this pops up. And either way, guys, this is what I have. But of course, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Have you ever had a situation where you've contracted the norovirus? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Of course, hit that like button. Know that I love each and every one of you. And well, I'll see you very soon. And subscribe to my other channel, Jay the Nomad. Take it easy.